For the sun painting, we're going to be using these PBO Ceta colors, but it's really important that you get the transparent ones. The opaque ones won't work, okay? It has to be the transparent paint if you're doing sun printing. And then you can see that I have here on my surface these little Dixie cups because you need to mix the paint so that it's 2 parts of water to 1 part paint. Now, it's not really like super chemically important. And I have a palette knife here to sort of smooth things along, but honestly, it's probably easier to just pour it out. So you just mix it into whatever your little extra container is, and then I have the Lazy Man's spray bottle of water. You can also take it over the sink. I suppose I could also unscrew the cap of this, but basically, again, I want to make sure that it's 2 parts of water, 1 part of paint. It's tempting to over dilute it, so don't. It's actually not as much as you think. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and mix up my other paints. I can, of course, use my palette knife to stir things up in there, and then we'll get to painting. So I'm all set up for my dyeing, and I have my layers. This is a Masonite board. This is a trash bag. You just need something non-porous. If you didn't have a Masonite board, piece of cardboard, piece of foam. Trash bag which has been used, which is why you can see the dye, which might transfer to this fabric, and I'm fine with that. If you're not, use a clean trash bag. You just need something plasticky. And then this is my piece of white muslin fabric. This is PFD or prepared for dyeing, but you can get any white fabric. It does not have to be ironed because we're going to wet it before we do anything, and that wetting is going to kind of smooth it out. And I'm just using a spray bottle of water to wet it. You could also, of course, use a paintbrush or something like that. I have a clean jar of water and a clean brush, and I'm just going to start painting onto my wet fabric. And you know, I'm a great fan of the pour method. And one of the reasons I said be careful about over diluting is, think about it, you've wet down your whole fabric. So if you actually do like 3 to 1, your paint is very dilute, and it just, you know, I like a more intense color, so I'm gonna scoop that out. Now I like to do 1 color at a time. There's no reason that you have to do 1 color at a time. That's a personal preference. I just like doing 1 color at a time, so I'll empty the entire cup and then move on to the next color. I, however, probably won't rinse out my brush, unless maybe when we go to the orange I will, but blue to green, there seems to me to be no reason why you would need to wash out your brush between blue and green, you know what I mean? Oh my gosh, I'm a poet and I didn't even know it. No need to wash out your brush between blue and green, you know what I mean. I don't think it was good enough that I really needed to repeat it, but I'm glad you all heard it. Okay, so you want to make sure to go right to the edges of the fabric and just get all that nice color on in there, because it's the color that's going to interact with the sun and give you your cool dyeing effect. Now you can overlap anywhere that you want. You can do anything that you want. Now notice I filled almost the entire bit. So what are we going to do when we get to the orange? Well, no worries. It's going to go intensely in the corner and then maybe overlapping in a couple other places. So I have washed out my brush between the orange and the blue. And now I'm going to go ahead and get that really orangey corner going, and it does blend in pretty nicely in some places, you can see. The other thing, of course, is remember, it's just paint. Go ahead and have a play. You can do some drips, you can rub it in if you want, you can pour it intensely somewhere, do some big pour splats. You know, it's just paint. You're just having fun. You're just starting the basis of whatever your piece of cool fabric is going to be. Now I use 3 colors here, and for me that's a pretty good number of colors to mix. Any more than that and I think things tend to get a little bit muddy, and I don't want the color to be muddy. So the next thing is you want to smooth out your fabric a little bit in case it got wrinkly while you're working like mine did, because ooh, and now you can get some cool drips. How cool is that? I just want to make sure that it's a little less wrinkled. There you go, so that when we go into the drying phase, it'll be a little bit better. Okay, the next thing you need is you need a bunch of masks, and I am using lots and lots and lots and lots of my fabulous Balzer Bits. And they're singably fabulous, as you can tell. So you can see they range from like super duper delicate ones like this one to things that are a little bit more chunky, and they're all tangled, of course, together. There you go. That's a little more chunky, but still very cool. And then, of course, I love this paint strokes one. I just think it's so cool. It's a way of getting paint strokes on your paper with no work. Anyway, so, okay, now that I've showed you all these fabulous things, what are we going to do with them? Well, they are masks, so I'm going to go ahead and push them down onto my fabric. Another reason I don't want any wrinkles, okay? And once I have pushed it down onto there, I'm just going to continue to layer them in. I like a pretty dense population of masks. You may want it to be more diffuse, more spread out. That's all just personal taste, so I like to put them in. You can even overlap them. But basically anywhere that you see, isn't the kitty cat so cute? Anyway, so anywhere that you see the mask covering, that's a part that should be a different color than the rest of the background. That's the point of sun printing. And that's why I'm trying to get some of the wrinkles out and pushing down on those, because I really want to make sure that we have a flat surface for working here. So there you go. And I do like to go off the edge, as you can see there, because I think a pattern always looks, oops, better. Well, I guess fate wanted that to be there, so that is where it's going to land. When things are a little bit off the edge. And now I'm going to talk at you while I'm doing this so that you don't have to endlessly watch me do this one by one. If you are, this prints best in direct sunlight. If you have a place outside where things aren't going to blow away, then go ahead and put it outside, or you can safety pin or put little rocks or something onto your fabric so that it doesn't go anywhere. If you do not have a place like that, then you can do it inside, and that's what we're going to do, because I live in an apartment building and I don't think that in the middle of Times Square I can probably put this down and not have it go anywhere. So if that's the case, then you can put it inside. Make sure to put it in the most direct sunlight you can find in a window. That's what's going to really work the best. So I'm going to finish laying these out, and then I'm going to go find a sunny window and put them down. So here it is, the moment of truth. My fabric has been sitting in the window, and I'm going to pull off all of my bits, and I can see that where like the fabric was wrinkled or the bit was hanging out, it didn't get as good, or hanging up, it didn't get as good an impression, but the places where it was pushed down, wow, it's so cool. I just tried to pull this up thinking it was a stencil, but it's the impression that was left behind. Oh my gosh, so fabulous, totally in love. Oh, this turned out so cool. So, oh, there's one more left. Look at that. Okay, so all I need to do now is take this over to my iron to heat set it. But let's see if I can't get a nice close up here on some of these beautiful patterns. I don't sleep.